I'm Ebong.
And I'm Kate.
And today we are dishing from Me and You, located at 3125 M Street Northwest. That's in Georgetown.
It is, and I can't wait to try all of these delicious things. I think you've already gotten into the calamari, but
I have eaten a little bit of the calamari that you can't see through the wonder of television.
But we've just got Leslie Sanchez to join us and sit down at the table. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I love this place, actually.
Oh, good. It is one place that we really like to come. But I feel like you must be out of your element because this is not a political place.
Oh, no, not at all.
Politics all the time?
No, but there is a bird cage upstairs which you can have dinner in. Which is, so talk about unusual places in D.C.
I can only imagine what that experience.
You know,
Republicans, Democrats, a bird cage. It's
a bird cage. The
and
reason
locked.
It is.
And they can work out healthcare.
They can't come out unless they do. I mean, I think the reason I think you're always talking about politics is that every time I switch on the television late at night, it's your beautiful face that's telling me something that I didn't know before. Telling me something. Well, now you're telling us something new. You've written a book.
Yes, I have. That's my second book.
Oh, it's the second book?
Yes. No, I'm excited. It's basically about the 08 election. A lot of people are writing about the election and the kind of the dynamics of it, but there are very few that are looking at it from the perspective of what it was like to be a woman, how women were feeling about the election. Especially, you had the convergence of three incredibly powerful women, interesting women: Sarah Palin, certainly Michelle Obama, and Hillary Clinton. But all of them brought together a lot and exposed a lot, I think, in our political culture that we haven't thought about lately.
So you're including Michelle Obama, even though she didn't have a candidate role.
Sure. She was incredibly powerful. Think of her. She's a professional woman, mom first. She's one of the first to come, who was a very educated career woman first, took her time out of her career to go on the campaign trail for her husband, and has now decided to be mommy-in-chief. But it's a very dynamic role, and she's already stretching the boundaries of what it is to be a first woman. She went sleeveless. I mean, aside from the fashion, you're really getting wild, you know, woo, stockings, but, you know, it's like, no stockings, shorts, bad shorts. Those were very bad shorts. But
I agree.
They were just wrong, just wrong. Okay,
sorry,
we had a moment. But really, in the sense of what does the new First Lady for kind of modern women look like? And it's an interesting conversation.
So where does the title is You've Come a Long Way, Maybe. So I'm getting the understanding, or actually I'm assuming that someone's fallen short somewhere.
Sure, absolutely.
So in what regard?
Well, I think it's interesting when you think about the media. They condensed these three dynamic women into the ditz, which was Sarah Palin, the witch, which was Hillary, and the media darling. Michelle Obama could do no wrong. Now, in conservative circles, she faced a lot of criticism. There was this, is she patriotic? Is she American enough? You know, all of those issues she had to deal with. Well, what's interesting with Michelle Obama, for example, African American women really bolstered her confidence, her ability to campaign. They really embraced what she was doing. Hispanic women embraced Hillary Clinton and actually kept her alive, her candidacy alive in California and Texas. You also saw conservative women or evangelical women who came out for Sarah Palin because she was that fresh voice that talked to reforming government, conservative cultural values. But the long and the short of it, the cruelest part, there were two things that came out of it. One, the media was still incredibly sexist when it came to talking about women. And secondly, girls were the meanest to other girls. You didn't have to be 12 to act 12. And I think cyberbullying was tremendous.
That's a very good point. It's the cyberbullying part of it is, you know, it's a way for anonymous people to get involved in the snipey part of the politics and not talk about actual stats and what women can actually do for this country. So my question is, if in the next 8 years, will we have a woman president? And if we do, what of the three women will it most be like?
Very good question. You know, there's an analysis of kind of where these women, these power chicks, come from. They were either descendants of political families, they were widowers in many cases. You had a lot that took the seats of their spouses. Right. They have to have that credential and that basic support.
Hence the issue with Carolyn Kennedy in New York.
Absolutely. Or they were what I called cause chicks. There were ones that something happened in their life that they became an advocate for an issue, an advocate for health care, an advocate against child abuse, an advocate for, you know, gun control, or some issue that propelled them to want to seek public service. A lot of of these women start on the school board because of education and move up. But think about it, it's difficult to balance all those things. Yes, they have to raise money. Hillary Clinton proved they can meet the money test, but they have to have a little bit of everything. They can't look too soft, they have to look tough enough. Unfortunately, Candy Crowley at CNN said why do you have to go on a warm and fuzzy tour as a presidential candidate? There's a lot of different things you need to be a viable candidate and to be substantive enough. Sarah Palin has the charisma, has the base of support, but quitting her job early left a bad taste in a lot of women's mouths, a lot of people's mouths in terms of finishing what you start. And is she going to learn the substantive issues to be a strong commander in the future? It's really up to them, but it's also how we view them.
You mentioned something earlier about Hillary Clinton and how you said the Hispanic population kept her propped up in Texas and California.
Sure.
One thing I did notice with a lot of people, especially here in D.C. from a political standpoint, as it relates to Barack Obama, women, actually African-American women, I want to know if you've seen this yourself, where some African-American women were picking Obama for one reason, but actually some of them were picking Hillary because they're a woman. And they thought that was more important of having a woman in office because of the sexism, because that's a lot more disguised than maybe racism at times, depending on who you're dealing with.
As a black woman, I'm sure that would be a difficult choice.
Exactly.
Well, you know, it's interesting. There's like a whole conversation about kind of the sisterhood that exists in Washington, D.C. among women of color. Predominantly African-American women. It was based on a sorority system, very strong values they shared together, and they're completely bipartisan, but they've been meeting for decades, kind of nurturing other women. And when these candidates, the Democratic candidates, first decided to run, they actually went and met with these women. Both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton went in there, and they came out and they said, well, what do you think? And actually the support was for Hillary Clinton. They felt she had the experience, she had the credentials, and was really the right leader at the right time. Now, as time moved on, I think people have broke away for different reasons, but you're right. You had a group of women who felt it was imperative to have the first woman president and to base it just on gender. I don't think that's a reason you should elect a candidate, is gender, but it's a reason, it shouldn't be a reason you just qualify them. And I think that's more where the tide was turning.
Well, Leslie, you spend a lot of time analyzing politics. Any chance you may someday decide to run for office yourself?
Oh, I see. I hope a lot of candidates get elected. I think that's my goal and objective, is to see more women candidates, to see more ethnic candidates really kind of pass the money test, build infrastructure, build support, and become those future leaders. And I like it on the state level too. I think that's much more exciting. Working in national party politics is really tough. This is the fast lane, but a lot of it is happening now in New Mexico, in Florida, in Texas, a little bit in the Midwest. It's exciting to see young, dynamic people throw their hat in, and I want to help them get elected. Do
you spend a lot of time throughout the country working with on state and local politics as well?
I do. I have individual candidates who call me and they'll ask for advice, and my company does message testing. I have a company that does kind of issue campaigns and different things, and we will work to find exactly the right niche for the audiences they're trying to appeal to. We do it for corporations, but it's a lot more interesting to do it for candidates or issues.
Well, we're running out of time, so just give us your elevator speech on why people should go out and buy the book.
Very, very good. I think anybody who cares about gender politics, women and the success of women in America, it's not just political, it's how women treat other women. I think one thing it exposed is women weren't prepared to deal with conflict and competition. And until we learn to do that well, you don't have to agree with each other politically. There's a lot of women who don't agree with me, but if we can come to a base of understanding and respect, I think it's a better legacy for our daughters. Let's start there.
Well, we completely agree. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
And as always, thank you for joining us here on this episode of The District Dish.